everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Elizabeth and I run the blog lifefromtheviolasection.com, where I share my favorite practice tips, general advice, and tech for musicians. Today I want to share with you 7 ways that you can practice music without your instrument. Whether you live somewhere where you just can't make a lot of noise, or if you're traveling and you don't have access to your instrument, there are so many different reasons why you might want to practice with no instrument. So let's get into today's practice tips. One of the most helpful things that you can do is actively listen to your music. So no matter what you're working on, whether it's solo music, orchestral, chamber music, anything, listen to recordings of it actively. So active listening would be like doing score study, where you're looking at your sheet music while you listen. If you're starting to zone out, you don't really have a purpose or a focus while you're listening, that would be more passive listening and just kind of enjoying it. So active listening is when you're really listening to the music with a purpose and really intending to learn things as you listen. If you're new to score study, this is basically just when you listen to the music and you follow along with the sheet music. If you're new to this, I would suggest making a copy of your music. If you have an iPad, this is super easy. Just, duplicate the PDF. Or if you're using Forscore, you can actually make another layer in the annotation mode, and you can annotate just that layer, and then you can make it disappear whenever you're practicing so it won't distract you. But anyway, make a copy of your music however works for you, and then mark up anything that you hear that you didn't know before, whether that's like different notes that are different from the edition that you have, or some really dramatic dynamics, or if there are different dynamics, anything like that. You can take like colored pencils, or if you're on an iPad, just change the color of the pen or the highlighter and kind of visually see all the phrases and kind of the characters and emotions that you want. Really just mark it up. Anything that you hear, any thoughts that you have, that's going to be so productive, even without your instrument. It's so helpful. After that, try to find a couple more recordings of the same piece of music. Try to compare them. See what these other musicians do differently from the first one that you listened to. Do you like it better? Do you not like it better? Is it more historically accurate? Do they take more risks? Just take it in, see how different people perform things differently, and then you can make your own educated opinion about what you like the best and what most resonates with you. If you want to bump it up a notch, if you've already done these things, try to find an accompaniment recording for your piece, if this is a solo piece. Find an accompaniment recording and try to sing along with your part. Can you sing the whole thing? Do you get lost? How does it go? It's really interesting. Or you can even just think through it if you can't sing out loud wherever you are. Another great thing to do is to just listen to the accompaniment while you do score study and you're looking at the whole score. That way you really get to know the accompaniments part, or if you're looking at orchestral chamber music, you get to know everyone else's part, and that's going to help you know exactly how to fit in. You might hear different chords differently. You might just get different harmonies in your mind, and it completely changes how you think about the music. It's super helpful. Okay, my second helpful tip today is to visualize. So even when you don't have your instrument, you can imagine what the performance is going to look like, or you can visualize what practicing is, how it works, all of those things. You can visualize yourself playing the instrument. I think the visualization is really helpful before an audition or performance. I like to imagine wherever I'm going to be performing. It's really helpful if I've already been there, or if I've got some pictures, or I know what it looks like. If I don't know what it looks like beforehand, then it's a little scarier for me, because I do like to just think through everything and kind of visualize it and imagine how it's going to go, so that I don't feel quite so scared when I'm in the real situation. So visualize the performance, visualize all the things that you want to do really well. Visualize it all going right, doing everything that you want. Visualize everything being dramatic. Just walk through every single step. Try to fill in every single detail, even though you don't have the physical equipment there or you're not physically performing. Just visualize it, pretend it's all happening around you. There have been studies done that have shown that this is actually a really effective way to practice. Third tip for today is to sing through your music without any accompaniment or anything. How far can you get before you get lost? Can you get through the whole thing? That would be super exciting. Sing through it. You're really going to get to know it. Of course, if you're a singer, this isn't really going to work for you. Maybe if you're a singer and you have access to a piano, try to pick the melody out on the piano. That might be kind of an equal mix, but of course, you'd have to have access to a piano. So that can be hit or miss. It's just another way for you to really get to know it and internalize it. It's also a great way to practice memorization when you don't have your instrument around. Sing it, hear those notes in your mind, think through the music, make sure you're not going down like the wrong path and then like skipping a part or repeating a section. Just singing through it is going to help you remember the order that everything comes in. My fourth tip today is to research the composer and any history behind the piece that you're working on. If you're looking to have a historically accurate performance, or if you want to know more about what the composer was feeling while they were writing this particular piece of music, this is so helpful. So find out anything that you can about the composer. If it's Mozart or Beethoven, you might already know a lot, but see what else they wrote for this instrument. See if it has any history with any other pieces of music that they wrote or anything written by a composer before them. You can find so many different interesting links between pieces. Research the history of the piece, find out who premiered it. If you're playing a solo piece, find out who premiered it, what their style was like, how they felt about this piece, where the premiere was. You can find out so many cool, just little interesting tidbits, and they're all going to help inform your performance even more to shape exactly what you want. Another great thing to do along the same vein with researching is to listen to other music by that same composer, no matter what instrument it's for, no matter what genre it is, any of that. Just get a taste, get a feel for other things that they've written. It's all from the same person, so see what their style is like. It's also just great to learn other music that you're not performing. It all helps. My next tip today is to listen to any music at all. No matter what the genre is, just listening to music helps you better become just more of a musician. You're thinking about music, you're kind of analyzing performances, and you can learn so much from any musician of any genre. So just listen to music. It's gonna help you develop as a musician and help you make your own artistic choices and decide what you do and don't like and how you can integrate that into your own instrument and performance. My sixth tip today is to practice some finger dexterity exercises, or maybe if you're a vocalist, like some massages in your neck. Maybe. I'm sorry, I'm not a vocalist, so I don't know the different kind of things that you can do for that. But if you play an instrument that uses your fingers, you can practice some finger dexterity exercises. I've never taught these before, but just trying to first peel apart the seam of each finger, and then there are ones where you can do things with like coordinating fingers. This is probably very good for pianists because it's like parallel motion and contrasting motion. So that could be helpful. There's also just like lifting up different combinations of fingers. So like 1 and 3 and 2 and 4. Yeah, you can get really good at those. And that's all gonna help you have great finger dexterity, which you need for almost any instrument that uses your hands and fingers. It's gonna be so helpful. And you can basically do those anywhere. If you're commuting, if you're in the library, if you're just at home, if you're in bed and you can't sleep. So many different places where you can just kind of practice those things. Along that same vein, if you're just starting to learn vibrato, you can do just some vibrato movements. I used to do this at school when I'd get bored. I would just do it on the desk when I was younger, when I was first learning vibrato. It's a great way to just practice little things that are gonna help on your instrument, but you don't necessarily need your instrument for that. And my last tip for today is to kind of airplay your instrument. Not quite like full out air guitar or air violin or air oboe, not quite that, but feel the movements that you need in your body for everything. And you can read through your sheet music when you do this. Think about the fingerings, feel the movements in your muscles, even if they're not fully moving, just like activating those nerves and firing those synapses in your brain. It's gonna be just like practicing your real instrument. There have been some really cool studies done about how you can practice this way, and athletes and surgeons, along with musicians, all tend to do this mental practice, and it really helps them perform better under stress because their muscles have already done it, and it's just like any other time. So feel the different fingerings, try to go through an excerpt or a whole piece, whatever you need. Just like thinking through like, okay, what fingers do I need? And just like lightly tell your brain to move that muscle, kind of. So those are 7 helpful ways that you can practice without your instrument. If you have any way that you've practiced without your instrument and you found to be helpful, please leave it in a comment down below, either here on YouTube or on my blog, lifefromtheviolasection.com. I would love to hear from you, and it would be so helpful for anyone watching this video or reading the post to see tips from others. It's always so fun to help other musicians. If this video is helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I post new videos basically every Sunday at noon Eastern time, and I'd love to see you here. Thanks for watching.